Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 15 important fill in the blanks concept from data cleaning, machine learning, statistics, and databases. These aren't just answers. I'll give you deep explanation so you can understand why each one is correct. So let's begin. First is in Bayes' theorem, P of A by B is. So Bayes' theorem is one of the most fundamental rules in probability and machine learning. It helps us reverse conditional probability. So instead of asking what is the probability of B happening given that A, Bayes let us calculate what is the probability of A happening given that B has occurred. So mathematically, P of A by B represents it is P of B by A into P of A whole divided by P of B. Hope you can see that. So this formula is the backbone of SPAM classifier, medical diagnosis system, Bayesian network, and probabilistic modeling. It combines three pieces of information: how likely B is when A is true, how likely A is in general, and how common B is overall. Now let's move on to the next question. The 68, 95, 99.7 rule applies to dash distribution. It is also called the empirical formula. It applies only to the normal distribution. So the answer is normal, which is a classic bell-shaped curve where the rules say 68% of the data lies within one standard deviation of the mean, 95% lies within second standard deviation, 99.7 lies within the third deviation. This rule is extremely important for Z-scores, anomaly detection, confidence intervals, and standardization. Now let's move on to the next fill in the blank, which is the metric that measures uncertainty gained when replacing distribution A with B is called. It is called Kullback-Leibler divergence. Sorry if I'm correctly pronouncing it wrong. So KL divergence tells us how much information is lost when one distribution is used to approximate another. So think of it like this way: if a distribution A is true, distribution A and distribution B is your approximate. KL divergence tells you how inefficient your approximation is. Examples of where it is used are variational autoencoders, language models, information theory, and reinforcement learning. KL divergence of 0 means the two distribution are identical. The larger of the value, the more mismatched, meaning your model is learning in an inaccurate way. So its answer is Kullback-Leibler. Li Kullback-Leibler divergence. So moving on to the next filling the blanks. This regression uses an L equal to dash penalty, and while lasso uses L equal to dash penalty. So these answer are इनका L2 and L1. L2 penalty, that is ridge regression, shrinks the coefficient by minimizing the sum of their squares. It keeps all the features but makes their weight smaller. Work well when most features are relevant. L1 penalty, which is used for lasso regression, minimize the absolute value of coefficients, forces some of the coefficient to become exactly 0, performing automatic feature selection. It is useful when many features are irrelevant. Moving on to the next question, a model that performs well on training data but fails on unseen data suffers from overfitting. Overfitting occurs when a model memorizes the training data instead of learning general pattern. It also becomes too complex and pick up noise, outliers, and irrelevant details. इसके symptoms होते हैं very low training error, high test or validation error, and poor generalization. Moving on to the next question. In logistic regression, coefficients are estimated using dash likelihood function. So the answer is maximum likelihood function. So logistic regression doesn't use mean squared error like linear regression. Instead, it uses maximum likelihood estimation, which uses parameters that maximize the probability of observing the actual data. Why? Because logistic regression outputs probabilities, not continuous values. MLE allows us the model to tune its parameters so that the predicted probability aligns as closely as possible when the two outcomes. Moving on to the next question. The hyperplane in SVM that maximizes the distance between classes is called the dash margin hyperplane. So it is called maximum margin hyperplane. Hope you can see that I'm having some error. So SVM, there are support vector machines, try to separate classes with the widest possible gap. The goal is to find a hyperplane that is as far as away possible from the points of either class. Determined only by critical data points, the support vectors. This hyperplane with the largest margin is called maximum margin hyperplane, and it gives SVM strong generalization ability. Moving on to the next question. In clustering, K means minimize the width cluster sum of squares. K means clustering group data by minimizing the within cluster sum of square. In simple terms, for each cluster it calculates how far the points are from the cluster center, squares their distance, and adds it. The algorithm then adjusts the cluster centers to minimize this total. This helps create tight compact clusters. So let's move on to the next question. In PCA, the first principal component captures the maximum possible variance. PCA is the dimensional reduction technique. The first principal component is the direction in which the data varies the most. More variation means more information, so PCA rotates the coordinate system to find the direction that captures the maximum variance, allowing you to reduce the dimensions while using minimal information. Moving on to the next question. CNN are particularly effective for image data, while RNN are suited for sequential data. Sequential or text. So CNN stands for convolutional neural network. These are designed for spatial data like images, videos, grids. They capture local patterns using filters. RNN designed for sequence-based data such as text, speech, time series, and sensor data. They maintain memory of previous inputs through hidden states. Okay. In TensorFlow, the structure of representing operation and dependencies is called computational graph. So, TensorFlow builds a computational graph where nodes represent operation, edges represent the flow of tensor. This graph structure allows efficient parallelization, distribution across GPU, and optimized execution. So, next question, Hadoop fault tolerance distributed storage system is called HDFS. Hadoop distributed file system. It is designed to store massive datasets across many machines. Its key features are fault tolerance, distributed storage, replication of data blocks, high throughput. So, next question. SQL query combining rows from multiple tables on related columns use the dash clause. It uses the join clause. So, join allow us to combine data from different tables using relationships typically based on primary keys and foreign keys. Its type includes inner join, left join, right join, and full join. Joins are essential for relational database queries. So next question, the Python collection that ensures that only unique elements is called a set. So Python set collection automatically removes duplicates, supports set operation like union, intersection, difference, and fast lookup because it uses hashing. Moving on to the next question, bootstrapping is resampling method that samples dash replacement. Okay, इसका आंसर है with replacement. So bootstrapping is a powerful statistical resampling technique. The key idea is sampling with replacement, meaning any data point can be chosen multiple times or not at all. It is used for confidence interval bagging in machine learning, random forest, estimating the sample distribution. This method simulates having many datasets without collecting new data. I hope this deep dive helps you understand not just the right answers, but the reasoning behind them. So thank you for watching.